Thanks for staying with us. So, on the 15th of November, Nigerian rapper Oladimeji, popularly known as Oladips, management announced his death, stating that he had been battling with undisclosed issues for more than 2 years. Oladips later shared a new proof that he's alive and healthy days after faking his own death. It was also later speculated online that he had faked his death to promote his latest album. In addition to that, we've seen various stories on social media of different people who have used the online tool to fake an ailment in order to get public sympathy of donations or support, financial support for them. And this trend is quite disturbing, and many just feel it's worth to have a conversation about it because it goes beyond the moral of it, or the immorality of it, or even the ethics of social media engagement. These are conversations we need to have. What can't you do on social media? Where do you draw the line between what is right and what is your freedom to do, or your freedom of expression? You can call us on the conversation 081-0764-1679, 09024-16440, and you can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so in the last few weeks, we've seen these kinds of stories of somebody trying to, mastermind all sorts of ailments to get public sympathy. In this particular story with Oladips,
is the extreme.
He went way too far, where he faked his death. We don't know if he faked his death himself, or if it was his management that orchestrated it. We're not even sure yet of the details. But bottom line is that after they had publicized his death, the very next day, I think the album was dropped, and then people started reposting about the album, trying to purchase his album. And the moment he came out to say, "I'm alive," people stopped buying, because even Peter Doce's son, Yula Doce, came out to say, now that he is alive, people have stopped buying his album. What are your thoughts on this? Let's even start with the issue of this using social media, to get sympathy and attention.
When I heard it, I said, while we were here mourning Mohbad and the circumstances of his death, and how to make sure that going forward policies are put in place to protect talent, somebody was thinking, look at the attention Mohbad is getting in his, now that he's passed, and I'm going to use it for my album. We really do have different kinds of people. And whether it was himself or his management is the same thing, because I do not think that his management will go ahead to do something without his, without him, signing off on it. It's sad how far that some things are no longer sacred. That things we have no respect for ourselves or people around us. Nothing. Everything is on the table. Everything is business. Everything is clout. Everything is content. For heaven's sake. Anyways, I hope that now when we talk about regulating social media, we understand that these are the topics we're talking about. These are the issues where someone can come out to fake their death. Yeah. I'm sure there's a law against it if this were to be done, maybe in newspapers or on TV, that you will come out, fake your death, and then come back after a while and say, hey, I'm alive.
Do mistake.
Is there
thing in the law? So there's a trend now. In fact, this one is trending from the male disabled turn female makeup artist to the transgender guy who faked his own kidney failure in the hospital. He faked it.
Okay.
It's okay. That one go and do BBA, bomb. He now do it finish. Apparently, part of the recovery process is that somebody will block his urine. There's a procedure that they will use to open that urine. But before that was done, he started doing videos where he was in excruciating pain, saying he has not urinated in 3 days. His friends would do the videos deliberately. We didn't know. All of us in the house were thinking, hey, this boy are using hand to buy trouble. We're pitying for him. And then, boy got girl. I really don't know where to stand now. So Isha do that one, finish. Then later, we didn't know that a procedure was done by the hospital to ensure that he started urinating, and he had started. He left the story unattended. Then, during that 3 days period he was waiting, there was where they were helping him to take out waste from his system. He took those videos as well.
So the
and
machines plugged to
yes,
him.
he will leave the problem online, he will not tell the solution part. So the hospital later did a joint where they said nothing is wrong with him, we did a perfect job for him, everything had been done for him. So he decided to go looking for hospitals where he can continue the guys. And by that time, all the people of his kind abroad, because they have pity,
money.
they open GoFundMe. They fund it very well. You know, that was when the person that started the GoFundMe and the doctors started to do their own videos and say, why are you trying to defraud people? Now money is on ground. We don't know where we go, because till now, he has not come out to say he's fine, he's not fine. His family members are not even proud to be a part of it.
Maybe they say he's already peeing.
He's
Okay,
paying
that's
already.
What she said.
Hey!
So,
But he let the story
so
happen.
as Miriam said,
Then we now get to this one now that did the height of it.
yes.
This one saying died.
So
The next one will be, I'm in heaven, or you come and
So
see.
come and see me.
So everything is on the table now. There's no way. We don't draw the lines anymore.
Not at all.
Everything, all the blurry lines have been removed, and we are all, everything's up for grabs.
Everybody's
But,
just crazy.
Bisi, your thoughts on this?
This is where the government needs to sit tight. When you don't have... Human beings naturally don't know how to self-regulate. And that's why we have laws and regulations to help guide people, shape people, so that the place does not become a banana island. If you allow human beings, whatever comes into their head, they will do, like we're seeing. Okay, this is the best way to get attention, let me do it. Oh, does it mean that I have to die first and pretend that I'm dead? Just to get this attention, let me do it. I've not been selling. What do? Do I go naked and start twerking so that people will come to my shop? Let me do it. There are no more rules, because the government isn't... so we know that we have a lot of problems, and the government is trying to say, okay, how do we give these people good roads? How do we give these people quality education? How do we give these people... But the people are evolving faster than the government is thinking. While the government is trying to even still help us solve the basics, we have moved from basics to madness. And so the government needs to step into that madness and help us. What I expect after he now came out to do a video is that, first of all, they'll pick him up. They'll pick up his management. Who announced that this boy was dead? Let them stay in Panti and be explaining whose idea it was. That's how a proactive government will nip this in the bud. The one that says he's not pissing and allow people to be doing GoFundMe, they will pick him up from the hospital. They'll first of all change him there. And he will explain why he decided to tell that lie to get the public sympathy. And two, we're always in a hurry to throw money at problems. Why are we rushing to send money? There are people schooling in Abuja. I took it which day? They don't have classroom. They stay under the rain. There's a stench of a dump site in where they are studying. Nobody has done GoFundMe to help those little children that are the leaders of tomorrow. We're doing GoFundMe for somebody who decided to change gender. Because we don't know what to do with our money. We don't know how to get our priorities right. Everybody needs to take responsibility for this.
You see, when you mentioned that government is a step, I was thinking to myself, government again? Because I remember this government tried to regulate social media during the Lai Mohammed's time. Oh my goodness. I remember the backlash. How can you try?
Yes, want to gag us.
So yeah, they want to gag us. Because even today, if they come out to say, let us regulate, the conversation is still... I was privileged to be invited, I think during this week, to Pan Atlantic University to speak on... Okay, so they're asking, like those of us in the media industry, what kind of research do you think we should do to support what you're doing? So we had to come out and tell all the various challenges. And the conversation was still about social media regulation. How best do we regulate it where the Gen Zs or the don't feel like we're gagging them, but there's still freedom of expression, but with some kind of regulation such that you don't hurt somebody else. Because in this situation, you're hurting other people. First of all, many have gone out mourning. They could have actually gone to start doing black, what they call those black T-shirts and having those, what they call those things, the candle nights, candle light procession, just because they thought one of their stars had died. These are things that can actually cause mental disorders to others because you affect their mental health by making them think somebody they love is dead.
Yes.
And then he comes back alive and you think, oh, we can all be happy.
Of course not.
I saw the video. The guy was just laughing, okay, yeah, I'm back. His friends were playing with him, grabbing his hand. I'm thinking, you're a bunch of fools.
All right, let me add something small. So I always like to use the parent parent-child relationship when it comes to governance and leadership, right? It's not every time your child knows what is best for the child. At some point, the father or mother will sit up and say, this is what we are going to do. And if you shout, I will punish you because I am the father here. Most of the time, the people who raise the noises or don't do social media, are the Gen Zs. They are not real stakeholders. Some of them just want that freedom to be able to do anything. You can't have such freedom in China or Korea or Japan or Singapore. You can't have such freedom. So we need to, at some point, accept that for the betterment of everybody, government needs to put policies. And the government, too, needs to be seen to be doing what they're supposed to do. It's distrust that makes it look like once we shout, they will go back and change the policy because they, too, are not doing what they're supposed to do. So we will call the government because it's now looking like if we leave Nigerians, we'll become a banana island. Nobody will regulate. Anything can just go. And we don't want our country to be like that. We don't.
So the social media has been a huge helpful tool in the hands of Nigerians. In fact, in change of government in 2015, we used Twitter, we used social media a lot. And a lot of us have decided that this powerful tool must not go. Where you send an SMS or an email to a bank about a failed transaction, they won't answer you. Just tweet it. Then they will come to the comment section and answer your question. You'll be asking this, we don't have light, we don't have light. You go there, they come there. So we cannot just, brand it like that. We must also bring in the good. But regulation is the only way to retain sanity.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, these people who have been affected are the same people who were all shouting under former Minister for Information, Lai Mohammed, that they even labeled him. They called, some people came on, when we handled it on the show and said he must be, his family. They wished him ill to the worst, of the worst form. Yeah. And they didn't want to see the side of putting things in perspective. Somebody should be arrested for impersonating somebody. Somebody should, for saying, I'm a girl, I'm a boy, and then coming, just accept me like that because I needed to make it in life, so I impersonated. It's a crime. Well, we must use English to separate it and put things in proper definition and perspective so we don't go crazy. People don't just wake up and say, okay, I want to make money today. How's the fastest way to get rich? Some of these funds, they must be probing. Whoever was the person who created a GoFundMe, if it was a GoFundMe, some people, imagine that Eniola's case, she put an account. Somebody should vet their account and see to it that the money is ill-gotten. Ill-gotten. Where you deceive people to get that money so that hard work will put value to hard work. This, you go see Z. And you don't say all those kind of languages that we use to justify whether the money is clean or not.
She doesn't know it.
I don't know. No, she's more strict than me.
All of those nonsense must be put to, meted to the best way. Reduce it at least as much as possible. Yeah. We're not saying that social media cannot be used for your business and all that, but it cannot be used as a fraud tool. Yeah. It has become a fraud tool, and it's annoying. There are no genuine cases again. You don't know which one to trust. Yeah. Those of us who like to give me, I don't even answer. Even no matter the kind of message you send to my page, I can't respond. Once it's about money, I can't do anything.
So let's go back to how this regulation thing started and why there was a lot of backlash at the time. Because it was, let's say, the timing at the time and the environment really wasn't ready. Thought that there's some things that government was doing and they didn't want to hear the people talk. So we took it, many people, I was not part of it, took it as if it was an attempt to gag young people from speaking their minds. But, there's something they say that when what an older person can see sitting down, you, a young person, you climb a tree and still not see it. Because it showed at that point, even though it seemed like it was political, it showed that this could lead to what we're facing today. Now, many people who are against it want regulation because they have been affected by the lack of regulation of social media. This GoFundMe that everybody just puts up, what is the process? Can anybody just, or you send a bank account, a bank number, and then people are just putting money into it? There has to be a way that is regulated to make sure that the person asking people, the general public for money, are not being scammed. The regulation now, I'm sure that we're at the point where we understand that regulation is needed. The example, people will say that when the cars were first made, there were no seatbelts. But when we now start seeing accidents and realizing that you had to be able to strap yourself to the car when there's a head-on collision or something. So that is how it is with social media. It needs to evolve in such a way that it becomes a safe place for everybody, and also be able to detect those who want to use it for evil and be able to prosecute them.
Let me take this call from UK. Ola, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Morayo, Miriam, Nima, and Gadisi. Actually, this is a very, very good discussion. The only thing I just have to say concerning regulation of the media because of what is happening now, we need to be careful because the crop of leaders we have in Nigeria, they do take advantage of situation. It might be okay for us now because of what happened now for us to be clamoring for regulation. But don't forget that politicians at some point will use it against the people at some point. I cannot remember any thriving democratic government in the world where this is happening, regulating the media. The only thing I will say is it should be an individual thing. Anybody that felt swindled by what people are doing now, claiming to be dead now, they can approach the court separately to address that, rather than saying we want to do a blanket cancellation or blanket regulation of the social media. If you have a kind of a bad detrimental effect for our democracy, the way the politics is played in Nigeria, they will use it against the public. People will not be able to talk, and at the end of the day, we will know that we are the one that caused the problem. So we need to be careful for what we wish for.
Thank you very much, Ola. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are also mistaking the word regulation for cancellation.
Yeah.
So regulation means that people are going to sit down and they'll bring it issue by issue and discuss it, what is healthy for Nigerians and what is not.
Yeah.
So it's not a total cancellation.
Absolutely.
It's all stakeholders will be involved.
And it's a global conversation. It's not just Nigeria. You know, abroad you have issues of catfishing. You have different people are creating fake accounts to swindle people, to collect money, So it's not a Nigerian problem. These things is being spoken about on a global scale because every country is finding a way to regulate within its own borders. What do I do to control and regulate my interests, my own ethnicity, who I am, my identity, my culture, these are values countries are trying to. So it's a conversation we need to start having, especially because people will take advantage.
Nigerians have largely accepted that anything Western defines them. But whatever is Nigerian, they will scare at it. They will call it all names. We go to the Hajj and we cannot do WhatsApp video calls. Oh. We're not afraid of that. Nigerians will cope. They will go to Saudi. They can't do WhatsApp video calls.
Not allowed.
So we'll be recording audio. They'll be managing the way they can manage. They can't do Facebook. Even in Dubai, there's no such freedom as a general freedom.
Yes.
But what the Westerners have sold to us is that in Africa, once your leader is trying to regulate some protective thing for a sovereign nation, it's got, they kill it. People have been tearing former President Obasanjo down for saying we should have a democracy that suits us as a people. You know, every form of definition is over freedom. I don't get how our people think these things. Even within our existing laws, under the criminal justice laws that we have, most of these things that we are seeing, that we are accepting, are crimes.
Yeah, so
when somebody did a video and called Eniola Badmus a terrible thing, and she decided, let me have a criminal defamation suit against this person, the world said she was using power.
Yeah.
They said she was using power. They called her all sorts of names. Then when Blessing CEO called Davido a name because Davido is a loved person to them, Nigerians called the Blessing CEO the name she should be answering. I don't understand. It's not, why is it based on our biases and our sentiments per time that we interpret or what somebody else interprets for us as what our laws should mean to us?
And that's not a nation.
What is your dignity supposed to mean? I will wake up in the morning as Nima and say, these are Nima's rules, these are Nima's laws. And when I come to Nigeria, as a Nigerian, this is what Nigeria makes acceptable for me as a Nigerian, proud to be one. Not what America, it said, this is how people used to do it. The moment they even use mistake to get masters abroad like this,
that's the end of the
Harvard standard is this side. It's one of you, the Laga Coca standard. That is the problem with us. Why are we not proud to be who we are?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.